Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And today we're talking about Season 5, Episode 16, titled Cryin Won't Help You Now. Air date May 5th, 2008, and the synopsis is:
Lucas confronts Dan's announcement about his life expectancy of only 6 months without a heart transplant. He calls Dan a liar until a cardiologist confirms it. Nathan wrestles with his feelings and Jamie's desire to get acquainted with his grandfather, while Dan begs for a last chance to repair his shattered family. Nathan and Jamie come up with an alternative for the injured Ravens. Mel suddenly gets a triple break as sports presenter. So Jamie asks Nathan what's wrong with Grandpa Dan because he didn't go to his birthday party because everyone else was there. And, Nathan asks Jamie, wasn't his party still pretty cool? And he says, yeah, but he wishes, Grandpa Dan was there because he misses him. And then that's when Nathan brings up that the jersey that he got as a present was from his grandpa. And that makes him happy, of course.
Were you happy he finally said it here?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because, he's, how long has it been? Maybe just a day, but yeah, I was happy he told him.
Yeah. But I'm happy that he told him, but I feel like Jamie, especially because he's so smart, I feel like he would have been like, how come he didn't give it to me?
Yeah, himself.
Does he not like me? You know what I mean? Because especially like kids, anybody can feel like that of like, you gave it to you, but not to me directly.
Mm-hmm.
And given how Nathan knows that, Dan gave it to him, it's like, yeah, I just was surprised, especially because of how smart Jamie is and how much he loves Dan so much. I figured that was going to be what he would say was, how come he didn't give it to me? And then it'd been like,
Mm-hmm.
us adults stopped him. But I was just surprised that's what he didn't say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Nathan should already know that Jamie can have, his own assumptions from everything that happened with Carrie and Haley. He thought that his mom, didn't care for him like Carrie did because he wasn't getting the whole story.
Well, and when Nathan was going through his depression, he didn't really feel like his dad kind of cared either. Remember, he was anything Jamie was doing, it was so he kind of got it from both parents.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when Haley walks in, and that's when she learns too that the jersey was from Dan. So, maybe Nathan should have brought it up to Haley first, really quick, before telling Jamie.
But I don't know.
Just so she knew too that Dan was near the house to give him the present, or them the present, And then, so they talk about Dan in the kitchen now about him dying, the transplant. And Haley asks Nathan if he believes him, because he's not that old, which is true, like we talked about last episode. But Nathan says it is Dan, but he's drawn up the will and everything and leaving the beach house to them. And he did seem scared. And he's never seen him scared before. So now, Haley's caught up, so they know why Dan wants to spend time with Jamie all of a sudden. Because, he has a ticking clock, and Nathan says ticking or not, Dan's not spending time with Jamie.
Okay, but didn't you think that Dan, before he knew about this, don't you think that he wanted to spend time with Jamie before he found out he's dying?
Yeah, just before he was in prison, so he couldn't really do that. So I wonder if he found out after he got out of prison or right before.
Well, because it sounds like he just found out, and that's why he keeps trying to confront Nathan all of a sudden. Like, he's been out for a little while, and all of a sudden he's trying to confront Nathan. I think that's because he just found out. I think, and my whole thing is, even when he was in prison, he wanted to know about Jamie. When he came out of prison, he was excited. He wanted to get to know Jamie. So I don't think that he is trying to know Jamie because he's dying. I think he's always wanted to know Jamie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for Nathan, I don't think that's true because, again, even when he was in prison, remember, he would try to talk about Jamie, and Nathan's like, I ain't here about that. And it's like, oh my God. You know, and then even when he got that, wasn't it a picture of Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
And like Dan cherished that. It's like, it's never been because he's dying.
Right. Yeah, because it's been like maybe like a month and a half-ish at least about since he's been out. No.
Well, because it was before Lucas's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe
he's
closer to 2 months, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, remember we did from the episode of the wedding and the episode after was 4 weeks. So yeah, it's probably been 2-3 months since he's been out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, they should probably have guessed something changed since then.
Yeah, especially because in that time, all those months, he has tried to talk to Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you would think that they would understand that, but I guess they're just rationalizing it kind of.
Mm-hmm.
To make themselves feel better of like, he's just a nutcase because he is dying and wants to hang out with our son. And it's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the reality.
Yeah. And then Brooke is at home, trying to get Angie to smile, but she doesn't. And she tells Angie, they have a big day. They're going to meet her doctor who's going to make her feel better. And then tomorrow, Aunt Millicent is going to watch her while she has her meeting.
I'm surprised that the doctor would make her feel better when I thought this whole thing is, remember, was an episode ago, it was, oh, she's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
She's a perfectly healthy baby.
Right.
And now all of a sudden this episode, the doctor's going to make you feel better. What?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it doesn't affect her.
Right.
In a like everyday way, like your attitudes or anything. Like, I thought you're supposed to be just a healthy little bit. Like, the writing, like, be consistent.
Yeah.
If you're going to say she is healthy, and then keep it consistent, but they're not. All of a sudden, this one, she's sick. It's like, which one is it?
Mm-hmm. So just then Lucas gets there.
Oh my God. Why? Do you know what I also didn't like? I also didn't like Peyton being okay with this.
Right.
Because Brooke was never okay, really, with Lucas and Peyton hanging out.
Right.
So it's just weird.
I mean, yeah, she said she's like gonna let him go basically, but yeah, it seemed like it was too sudden.
But it's weird. Again, they haven't been friends or not in each other's lives like that. And all of a sudden, because of a baby, now they're going to be in each other's lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're kind of acting like Peyton and Jake were with Jenny.
Well, and this is a baby that neither one of them are keeping. It's not like she adopted the baby and he's going to be there forever watching her grow up. No, this baby is leaving soon. Like, what don't these people understand? But they're acting like this, like little married couple of like, look, we have a baby. And it's like, neither one of you have a baby.
Yeah, he even showed up 12 hours early because Brooke's like, we're not meeting the doctor until 7 p.m. So
yeah, and he's there at 7 a.m.
Yeah, so that's very eager. Yeah,
it's very weird. Just saying.
Yeah.
And then Peyton, of course, comes out, and it's just awkward.
Yeah, because she's wearing like little shorts and everything.
Which, again, Lucas has seen it, so.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny seeing her pull down her shirt, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, honey, he's seen less of you. Or he's seen more of you, but less clothes.
Yeah. And then, so
and then, then he just leaves. I'm like, well.
Yeah,
and Brooke just finds us hilarious. But she's the one that kind of did this. Think about it. She's the one got him all into this baby, and who's living there? I mean, and here's the thing. It's 7 a.m. Lucas has to know that he's going to run into Peyton. She lives with Brooke, and it's 7 a.m.
Right. I mean, she could be at the label at this point, but yeah, he should have known there's a good 50% chance.
Yeah, but don't they usually record not at 7 a.m.?
I mean, she could have been doing other work, like, I don't know, listening to demos or doing something scouting wise.
But she's not. She only wants one artist, and it's Haley, and Haley teaches, so she's only going to record at night. So Peyton has all day.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure Lucas knows that Haley's recording because that's his best friend. So I don't know. I just think, 7 a.m. you'd run into her. Do you know what I also find weird?
What?
Is that given how Peyton is the love of his life, why is he still ignoring her? Isn't it weird? Like, in a couple episodes from now, you are going to be do something crazy, which I think. Remember? Okay, do you remember when Peyton said you propose out of the blue? I think in a couple episodes, this is the other proposal out of the blue. Because who, after doesn't even talk to somebody for months, wants to marry them? Do you understand that at all? Like, yeah, she already called you things, like called you names, kind of, because you proposed out of the blue. So let's do it again. And also, you haven't even talked to her since the wedding. It's not even like they've had even conversations as people. They avoid each other. They don't talk to each other. How can you turn around and marry this person?
Right. The only time they really talked last was about her making the studio in Trick.
Yeah, that was it.
That one, yeah.
But ever since then, they've avoided each other. And I don't understand because here's the thing. When he was with Brooke, he would still talk to Peyton. There was never, the communication never stopped.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, the communication here has stopped. And I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, Lindsay wasn't the love of his life. So because I could see that. If the love of your life left because they think you were like somebody else, I could see that you wouldn't talk to that person because the love of your life left. But Lindsay's not the love of his life.
That's just how it is in his head, yeah.
But it's weird because I think he liked Brooke more than he liked Lindsay. So why did he never push Peyton out of his life when he was with Brooke?
I don't know.
And even after he broke, even after Brooke and Lucas would break up, he was still in Peyton's life. So I don't understand why he's not here.
I don't know. I guess with him growing up with a single mom for the majority of his life until, she kind of got to Keith toward the end, like he never really had a couple to look up to when it came to love, at all. So.
Well, and also too, whose fault is it that they wrote their next book about Peyton? It's not Peyton's fault. So for you to not talk to her or, act like she doesn't exist, that's not her fault. And she said she was going to kind of be like Keith. She was going to basically be his friend. Well, Keith still continued to talk to Karen all those years. So I don't understand this at all. It's really weird and messed up, kind of. I feel like.
Yeah, I wonder if they were still setting her up with Skills at this point or something, because, yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, but then in this episode, Skills and Peyton don't have any communication.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if they were just waiting and then going to start it up or something, after a minute. I don't know.
Yeah, but we're almost to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So that wouldn't even make sense. Oh, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. And then at basketball practice, Lucas, asks Skills if he knew that Q was there at practice this morning. And he says, yeah, he told him. And then that's when Q walks in. So Lucas calls them, into a huddle and says that, they will see that Q will be out for the next 6 weeks because of his cast, which means they have to step it up. And they can't afford to lose many more games. And that's when Q starts walking out. So Lucas says, the season isn't over for him, but he says there's nothing for him now, and then he quits. And then Brooke is trying
I will say,
Hmm.
when he walks out, because he quit, I will say that was definitely the old Nathan move.
Right.
Nathan would have. He would have been like, I don't have time for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking he was above the team. So that would have been an old Nathan move.
Right. Yeah, so too bad Nathan wasn't there because he probably would have followed him. But Brooke is trying to feed Angie at home, and Payne says she can help her. She's just been busy with the studio being built. Brooke said it's okay, she's excused from baby duty, and she likes the alone time with Angie, so she doesn't need to feel bad.
And then she said Angie's scared of her creepy Aunt Peyton.
Yeah, I don't know
what like when, like what?
Mm-hmm.
How is Peyton creepy?
Right.
I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
No. But yeah, and she says that they like Uncle Lucas better, so she's just putting Aunt and Uncle for everybody. Which isn't good because they're just showing her that she's getting more attached.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when Payne does bring up Lucas about him, helping out. It's been cool, nice. And Brooke says, it's cute, but he's, still playing over Lindsay, so it's helping to distract him. And Payne says, it's being a distraction. She has to go back to the studio.
Yeah, and then she says Haley's recording.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brooke's all happy. It's like, finally, she knows, because she is so into Angie that she doesn't even know what her friends are doing anymore.
Mm-hmm. And Brooke's still trying to get her to smile, but it doesn't work. So she tells Payne to get out, calling her creepy. She's scaring her. And then at Mouse's workplace, his boss asks if he has a voodoo doll or something, because apparently the salmon mousse is fixed in the cafeteria. So I don't know what that was about, but the usual sports anchor is sick, so he wants Mouth to fill in. And then he mentions about Alice, because he knows that Mouth was close to her, and Mouth's like, yeah, pretty close. So the guy says that he liked his real piece on the Ravens, so he can fill in. And Mouth says, what about the weekend guy? But he says that he's okay, but he would get a big shot with this. So he tells Mouth he has 3 slots, for the afternoon. And then mentions that he heard about Mouth's Omaha offer, and he thinks he made the right decision. So yeah, Mouth was lucky that he had his big break so soon after turning down that offer,
because it could have been just stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was like the 3rd guy in line to do this, so he's really lucky. And then Haley goes to see Lucas in his office at school to tell him about Dan, about him dying. But Lucas doesn't believe her at first, so she explains what's going on. It's serious. And he's even giving Nathan the beach house. And Nathan seems convinced. And she asks Lucas if he thinks he's lying, and Lucas says, yeah. But then he calms down and tells Haley that he'll look into it, but just to, be careful with him. And don't let him suck her and Nathan back into his life. And she tells Lucas she's with him on that. But if he's telling the truth, but if he is dying, and Lucas says, then it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Oh, Lucas.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when Dan shows up, when Nathan is at the river court.
Now he's just following Nathan. It used to be Jamie, now it's Nathan.
Yeah. And then he mentions to Nathan that he told him that he wasn't, trying to come back to the game, but he knows he is. That's what he would do. And Nathan keeps telling everybody it's going to come back, but Dan says sure. But he needs to face the fact that he's not going to be the same player. He just has to learn to play differently, reinvent himself. The best players find a way. And then he starts giving him pointers, but Nathan tells him to just stop it.
Yeah. And then he said, stop following me, trying to see Jamie, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I don't care, you're dying.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Nathan was mad at him.
Yep.
And then Dan said, don't hate me because I'm proud of your accomplishments. I don't think Nathan's mad at Dan for his accomplishments.
Right. Dan, yeah, still doesn't know that this has all been about Keith the whole time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you murdered somebody
Mm-hmm.
who did nothing to you. So it's like, of course, no one is gonna have anything else to be mad at you about. Like, they're always gonna remember this. So I don't get it.
Yeah.
He just wants you to stop talking to him, period.
Yeah. So then he tells Nathan, like, he doesn't want to live with regret like him. It's not too late. He can have his dream if he just really wants it.
And just tells him to stop and leave.
Yeah. And he throws the ball at Dan's face too, but he dodges it. That was pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just leave his family alone.
I liked it.
Mm-hmm. And then Payton reveals a piano now in the Red Bedroom Studios. And Haley, says it's great, but, she's not too thrilled about it. So Payton asks what's going on. And that's when she brings up about Dan. Well, not Dan, but she brings up about Ellie first, like, about her Payton getting to know her birth mom. And what about her dad? And, Payton says that with how things went with Ellie so well, that she does wonder about her dad sometimes. But what if she meets him and he doesn't like him? So sometimes she thinks it's easier not to know.
So this is weird because she is asking about Dan. Like, she's trying to bring up Dan. And she's asking Payton about her birth father. And it's weird because
it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Like, Payton doesn't know who he is. Like, she knows nothing about him. Like, if he is a murderer or not. Like, he's probably not. But, like, what her birth father is compared to Dan is so far from each other. Like, they're not even the same thing. Like, unless you knew that they were both murderers, like, then you could be like, now, would you want a relationship with him? But Payton doesn't know him. She doesn't know his name, nothing. So it's weird that you would compare them.
Yeah,
like stop acting as if, like, here's the thing. Like, the whole time you act like, it's all because of Keith's murder. Well, then keep it going in this scene with Payton, because again, he did something and it changed everyone's world upside down. So don't disregard that and throw it on Payton as if her parents are, less than, because are you kidding me? It's Dan.
Like, yeah, it's about regretting not knowing a family member, but then it's a big difference too between a parent and a grandparent as well. So,
but again, but even if you found out that your birth parent murdered somebody, you would say no. I mean, I think most people would be like, I'm good. You wouldn't want to enter that world. But again, I think that would be more even, like how you could compare it. But because we know nothing about him, just besides, yes, he cheated, but Dan kind of did this. Like, they're both not in the right place. Like, Payton's dad, what we heard from it is not great. But Dan wasn't either. Like, if you take away their murder for a second, he was not great either. So even if you just level that, but then on top of it, he did something. So you got to take that into consideration, where Payton's father didn't. So it's definitely different even by that standard. Like, even if you just, level up to the person, it doesn't equal what Dan did.
Right. So that's when Haley brings up that there's a chance that Dan might be dying. And, Payton asks if Nathan knows this. And she says, yeah, and Lucas. The problem is Jamie. He wants to know his grandfather. And if Dan's really sick, he might not get a chance to do that. And Payton says, it's rough, but getting to know Ellie changed her life. And they wouldn't be there, if it weren't for her right there in the studio. But then again, Ellie wasn't Dan's spot either.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, it's really irritating.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot compare the two.
And then Lucas goes to see Dan now at the beach house. And you could really tell that the scenery behind him was obviously a green screen. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is like, it has to be a different set. I think before the beach house was like a real, maybe like a real house, at least that part of it that they filmed at the door. I don't know, but you could just tell this one was a green screen, so it's kind of distracting for me. But yeah, so Lucas looks at Dan. He's like, "Well, you look healthy, so maybe you are a liar." But Dan says, him of all people should take this seriously. But Lucas says there's nothing wrong with his heart, and if he knows him, there's nothing wrong with his either. And Dan says he wishes that was true, but he has the best cardiologist, and he can't even help him. He can even call the doctor himself.
So and he says, "I'll just do that." Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Dan says, without a transplant, he'll be dead within 6 months. And that's when Lucas says, but he's dead to so many of them already, so it doesn't matter, and walks out. Yeah, so Lucas and Nathan are both being very honest and blunt with Dan and how they feel about this. I'm just surprised that because we don't really see Deb know for a while, right?
I don't know when she's next.
Yeah, because you think that Nathan would have told Deb too, and I would have liked to know her opinion, about this, and for Jamie to get to know Dan as well. That would have been good to see her insight. But back to the label, Payne asks Haley if she wants to put the piano track down first, and Haley says yeah. But her mind is somewhere else. So Payne says he would have thought that one day they'd be in their in their own recording studio making the next record together. And Haley adds on her her label, and it's great that she's enjoying her work so much, just as long as she's not using it to hide behind, And then Payne says, what's that supposed to mean? That's when Haley tells Payne that before the wedding, she told Lucas that he shouldn't marry Lindsay because she read his new novel and knew right away that he was still in love with, her Payton, whether he was ready to admit it or not. And, Payne doesn't believe that, it's just fiction from a story. And Haley mentions about the music, how some of her subconscious sometimes gets in there too.
I was happy that Haley finally was standing up for Payton because, remember, she was Team Lindsay for the longest time and hated the fact that Payton came back and, showing her feelings. I'm happy she's finally, now back to Team Payton. Because it was actually annoying because who did you know first?
Right.
So I did like that, but of course, Payton is just trying to, avoid it. Because especially because she knows what it caused. So, and she doesn't want to get her heart broken by being okay, I'm going to listen to you guys, but then, it never happened. So I get it.
Right. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't really matter how much longer you know the other person. But
and right now it's up to Lucas of what he wants.
Right.
Because she can love him the most, but he has to be willing to accept it.
Yeah, so Payne says, she watched Lucas at the altar, and it's clear that, his heart lies with Lindsay. And if she can't see it, she's not sure, why Lindsay can't see it too. That's unfair to Lucas. So then Haley says she thinks Lindsay is afraid of the idea of, her Payne's history with him. And she asks Payne, what if the roles were reversed? How would she feel? But then we go to Brooke at the doctor's office with Angie, and his name is Dr. Copeland. And he knows Brooke from her clothing line. And then he, sees Lucas and asks, what that must make him. And he says a friend.
So when he's telling her about the procedure and everything and what to expect, this was just so weird to me. Because in it, Brooke and Lucas are sitting there going, is this even safe? Are you sure? And I'm like, you two, and they're even saying, can she live without this? You two are not the parents.
Right.
The parents, I am sure, have already signed off on the surgery. Yep. You are not there to say if she can or cannot have the surgery. So I was so upset because I'm like, no, why is the doctor even trying to talk to them as if they're the parents? I'm like, no, he should have sat there. This is what you do after. This is a procedure, blah, blah, and that's it. Wipe your hands. You're not the parents. Keep out. Like, no. Like, think if you're in those parents' situation and you're not there, and all of a sudden these people are going to say, no, she's not going to have the surgery. But like, I got words for that. You are not the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, the parents chose this. You do not choose this. And for the doctor, they should not be that involved in it. Do you know what I mean? Again, it should be, this is the procedure. This is what you do beforehand to prep. This is the prep after, and that's it. It should not be anything more for them to chime in on because they're not the parents.
Yeah, it did seem like that Brooke was, having second guesses, but I don't think she would have had the power to say no. But I think he just wanted them to be aware. So if something did go wrong, then, it'd be shocking for them to hear afterward, like, we couldn't get her heart restarted. And then to be like, what do you mean you didn't? Like, you stopped her heart? Like, they wouldn't know anything. So.
Okay, but again, they should not, like, get all that. Like, okay, so say it, but they should not be able to chime in.
Right.
Like, they're acting as if the parents of like, okay, well, this and this, and like, what happened? No, you get the rules of before and after, and that is it. Like, it's just annoying. Like, you're not her adoptive parents. You're not her parents. You're not even her foster parents, really. You're just there until she gets better, and then you send her back. Like,
yeah, Lucas has no, connection to this at all. Yeah, surprised he isn't even allowed there.
I know, but then he's like, wait, you stop her heart? Is that like, okay? Shut up. You are not involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
You get no say because, like, they're trying to say, is this safe? Again, whether it's safe or not, she is not yours.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot say, nope. That's how they were acting to me, as if they got to say yes or no to the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's total bogus to me. You don't get a say. The parents have all the say.
Yeah.
Duh.
Right. And then this reminded me of high school Brooke, because she wasn't catching up about how if she didn't have the surgery, then the doctor said, she has a year or two. And Brooke was clueless on what that means. And she's like, then what? So he had to actually say it straight out to her that she'll die. So,
yeah.
So,
but again, why should she get to ask these questions? She shouldn't get to ask these questions because the parents already signed off on it. So that's what I was annoyed of. They're asking too many questions. It should have been the doctor sits down, tells them what to do. Have any questions of the procedure, of the process before, the process after, and that's it. That's all it should have been. This should not have been a ask me anything you want as if you're involved medically with this, because you're not the parents. Like, HIPAA, it's like, keep it to where it should be. They should not be involved like that.
Right.
It's kind of like people who what do I want to say? Oh, surrogate. They shouldn't get a say in what happens. Do you know what I mean? It's like, sometimes they don't even really get, I'm saying, like, personally involved with, like, family and stuff.
Oh, I thought you meant like surgeries and stuff, because I was confused. I'm like, with their own body when they're pregnant, so I think they could.
No, it should just be like this is what you signed up for. You're here to have this baby for the family. You wipe your hands, and you move on. Not like, sometimes you hear those like creepy stories how like they suck themselves in, kind of like Nanny Carey. No, it shouldn't be like you're bonding with the family.
Yeah, that's why they have contracts for that, to make sure there's nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, so that's my whole thing is like, and again, even afterwards, you should not be in charge of what happens after to this baby, because once the baby is born, that is now the parents' job, not yours. So that's what I'm saying is like, it's like surrogacy. This baby is not yours.
Right.
So, you know, it's like the same thing of like, you're here to do a job, which Brooke is, to take care of Angie, and that's it. Take care of her, not tell the doctor what's going to happen. Like, that's not your job. So that's what I was getting at.
And then I didn't like how they kind of made Lucas only go with Brooke for this, because, you know, at the end he asked if the doctor knows Dan's, you know, doctor for his, you know, the cardiologist. Like, I didn't like that, you know, kind of made him seem like that was his reason to be there.
I didn't think so.
Oh, well. Because he's like, if there's no more questions, and that's when Lucas brings it up. So I thought that was just
I think he just was like, you know, I don't know who this doctor is, because I think he liked how the doctor was giving him all this information about ENG. So I think it was like you know, hey, you know, like person to person, like, do you know this doctor? Like, you know, is this doctor credible? Like that kind of thing.
Or even real. Yeah, because Dan could be lying about that too.
Right. So I think it was more like that. Because who else are you going to ask? You don't have friends that are doctors. So you can't go to them and ask questions. So I think that was more of his thing of, do you know this person? Where, because he now trusts this doctor. I think that's what it was. I didn't. I thought it was there, you know, for obviously Brooke and Angie, because it seems like he's now going to take care of Angie. Yeah, I didn't think that it was only because of Dan.
I just thought maybe they could have waited until Brooke was out of the room and then he asked the doctor about him. Maybe.
Hey, it's doctor. The doctor's very busy. But
and then Nathan goes to see Q at the river court and tells him he's treating like him now. And, you know, Q says they were both, you know, they're both former Ravens too. And that's when Nathan, you know,
finds out. Yeah. But again, if he was at practice, as he told Nathan as he told Lucas from the start, that he was going to go to every practice, he would know that Q ran off.
Yep.
You know, but again, he's missed a bunch of practices now.
So where was he then again during practice?
What?
So where was Nathan during practice then?
Who knows? Not there. I mean, it's not like he has a job, so I don't know. Wait, no, wasn't he at the river? Or no, he was at the river court, because isn't that when Dan ran into him?
Oh yeah, so he was at the river court instead of practice. That's weird.
I don't know. Isn't that when it happened?
Yeah, that was his last place that we saw him. Yeah. So Nathan tries to tell Q that just because he's injured, he's still part of the team, and he just can't quit. And Q tells Nathan he's sounding like his brother now. And, you know, what does Lucas know about playing injured anyways? And yeah, so I'm kind of surprised this is when they start telling Lucas, you know, his past and Nathan's past, because Q didn't know that they kind of had to work them, you know, from the bottom up too, you know, with their injuries.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was in a car accident.
Yeah, so
and he didn't even bring that part up. He brought up about his HCM, which he didn't say what it was. He just said, you know, it was something serious, but that was like, he didn't go into it of like, he could have died if he played. He didn't say any of that. It was just, you know, his minutes were cut short of playing.
Right.
But again, even before that, an injury that would kind of be similar to Q's would have been the car accident, which Lucas still showed up to practice, barely, because didn't he want to quit? I mean, even after Keith died, Lucas didn't really understand why he was there. So there's been times that both boys have quit or wanted to quit. So for them to act like Q should be not acting like this, I'm like, he's acting like a teenager. Exactly what those two acted like, because they also have quit and come back. But they're trying to act like no one should do this when maybe you shouldn't have done it either.
Yeah, well, my thing is, I don't know why they waited this long to tell Q, because if he would have saw that they made it past their injuries, then he could make it past his too, because he would have like a role model to look up to.
But also, don't you think that because they're only like, what, they're like, what, 5-6 years apart, maybe? Don't you think that when Q was in middle school, that he would have known about their injuries in town because of the Scots, and they were huge on the basketball team, and like, I don't know, like, especially like little kids, because they look up to the high schoolers and stuff. Like, especially because Q loves basketball, I would think that he would have known that part.
Maybe, unless he like moved to Tree Hill after that or something.
Because remember, we kind of talked about how Q and like Lucas never ran into each other because they would have wanted to go to the river court.
Yeah, so maybe he did like move to Tree Hill after they graduated or toward the end. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe his mom thought or got a job, or maybe she thought it was a better town, or maybe she thought maybe he could get in to the NBA or something this way versus wherever they were living before. Who knows? I just wish we could get a backstory on it, just because I'm curious. Because it's not like they're 10 years apart. They're not that far apart. That's why they're kind of just the big brothers, because they're so close in age. So it is weird.
Yeah, it's funny that about their age gap, because in real life it's flipped around. I thought it was funny. So that's when Nathan tells him that he'll just have to learn how to play differently, you know, have to reinvent his game, saying the exact same words that Dan just told him earlier.
Yeah, so he's gonna use Dan's words and somebody else, and then you gotta agree to it. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, Q says it's not gonna be easy. So Nathan says, you know, who said it was, but you know, he's not gonna quit. He'll throw away everything he worked for. And Q says he's not going to. He already did.
Like, don't you think that Lucas could have told the team, like, don't quit. I know what it's like to quit, and I know what it's like to beat up on yourself. Like, give a speech of it because you experienced it. Instead of, I'm the boss, don't quit, otherwise you're out. The team, don't do this, otherwise you're out. Like, give some backstory so they can like humanize you. Otherwise, you're just like the sergeant.
Yeah.
And nobody listens to them.
Yeah, Whitey probably would say something. And then Nathan brings up the guy that he punched for him. And Nathan says he's thrown a lot of punches himself, but each one was selfish. And he tells Q that he punched the guy for himself. He has to face that, yeah. And then we segue to Millie playing a video game, telling the other player that they're dead and to deal with it. And then that's when Moth walks in. And she's like so into the game, saying that she beat a 13-year-old boy from Arkansas.
So I thought this was weird because he was like, "Oh, we got like, you know, like watch this with you, like, you know," because she's like so involved. And I'm like, but wait a minute. So it's okay for the guys to sit there and play video games all day and like get involved and everything. Like, I'm beating you and everything, but then it's not okay for Millie to do it.
I didn't see it that way.
I did. I was like, okay, so it's okay for your friends and even you to like play the video games and get invested as guys do, but it's not okay for her to do it. Okay.
It just seemed like he was thinking about his sports segment that he has to do now.
No, because at first it was about her, and then I was like, okay, this is weird. I was glad they finally shifted it to that.
Yeah, so Moth tells her about his segments that he gets to do now at the station.
I kind of felt bad for him because he really wanted her there, and she was like, but I have to babysit because Brooke has her big presentation. And he's, and it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, oh, like you could feel that he definitely just wanted her there.
But do you think that he started only getting really nervous when she mentioned about all the people that would be watching him on TV?
Probably because he, but it's weird because didn't he have? Was it a podcast? Yeah. I thought it was just like the online website.
It seemed like kind of both. I don't know. Yeah, something. Yeah, audio wise.
So he had that where it was online of the game every week, and he would sometimes interview players and coaches. It's weird how he did that. No problem. People listen to it. I mean, Peyton would listen to it when she was with Jake in Savannah. But yet he's not, like, he starts to get inside his head. Oh my God, people are going to like watch us and like listen to it. And it's like, but you've already done that.
Not camera work like this. No. he hasn't. That's why he's nervous about being seen and not just heard now.
No, I mean, but he has one step forward than other people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he was preparing himself for it with those demos, that he made for the stations.
Yeah, but he also knew nobody was going to watch it.
Yeah.
And if they did, it was going to be just the people like in HR, not like actual, the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then back at the house, Jamie asks Haley where Grandpa Dan lives because he wants to send him a thank you note for his birthday present. And he's even wearing a little jersey when he says that. And he asks if Haley can take him there, with a big smile, all cute. And she tells him no, she can't because he lives at the beach and it's getting late now, but he can write, the thank you note for his grandpa and she will make sure he gets it. Yeah, so he's satisfied with that. And then he says he'll write the best thank you note ever, not knowing that she's just getting his hopes up. But then Brooke puts Angie in her crib and tells Lucas, she can't get her to smile. And, Lucas, asks if she asks Lucas, and, what if she does, then, if things go wrong with the surgery, then what? Like, what does she tell her parents, people she's never met? Well, I think with the system that the program she's with, they would tell the parents, so she wouldn't have to worry about that burden.
Thank you. Like, if something happens, you will not be the one to tell the parents. It'll be the people in charge, like whoever handed you the baby, that's who, or, I don't know, the actual doctors themselves. Like,
yep, call them.
Yes, like it would not be you because you don't have any communication right now with these parents, right? No. So you would still have no communication with it. You don't even know who these parents are. So, which is, because if Brooke did, I feel like she would right now be investigating these parents, trying to find them.
Yeah, it seems everything's very like closed records, like everything's kind of anonymous, on both ends. Because you don't know the parents don't know the person. Yeah.
Well, because it's kind of like adoption. Like, you don't want these people to, like, you don't want, like, Brooke to come out and know, like, she knows who you are, so she's going to keep hounding you, or she's going to be like, I want to see Angie. And it's like, no, you did your job. Now let the parents raise her and you get no update. Like, sorry, that's just how it is. And, so I don't get why she would not tell the parents. Like, it's these people told her nothing of what goes on when what she signed up for. Either that or she just didn't listen and she heard she was getting a baby and that was it. Because they would have told you if something happens, we tell the parents, you do not. You have no communication with the parents. They would have told her that right from the start when she signs the contract.
Right.
So it's weird. So either she didn't listen or they didn't tell her. Because she always acts like she knows nothing. And it's like, how do you not?
Yeah, like we never heard Brooke mention like she lives this far away, like the country she's from, or like does she have any other siblings, at home, that are waiting for her to come back to, like nothing about her home life. So
I don't think they give that out.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's why I'm just like, Brooke doesn't see that this is supposed to be like, I mean, not personal, but like as little as much. Like, I feel like maybe they do that purposely so the person that's taking care of the child doesn't get attached to them, like know more things about them,
That's what I mean. Is you get the baby, that's it, and you give her back. Like, there's no information of her life, and that's, I think, to protect the baby, protect the family, and that's the way it should be. I feel like, I mean, because you get crazy people, you do. So, I don't think that they should have that information.
Right, because I never heard of this program existing outside of the show, honestly. Have you?
I mean, I know that surgeons operate on Grey's Anatomy. Remember, April brought that one boy that she saw in Jordan.
Right, I'm talking about in real life, though. I never heard of anything existing like this.
Oh.
I'm sure it does, but I never heard until this show and Grey's Anatomy and such.
Yeah, I mean, it must. I feel like it must. If Grey's Anatomy has done it, I feel like it probably did.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if, if anybody's been a part of that, they're seeing this and how accurate it is or not,
Well, it's probably not too accurate since Brooke was, asking too many questions.
Yeah. And then, so Lucas, reassures her that she's given Angie a chance to have a full, wonderful life, Brooke thanks Lucas for being there for them, and he thanks her for letting him be there for them. And then Skills and Jamie are playing a video game, but it wasn't a Wii this time. They had different controllers, I noticed. So I wonder what happened to the Wii that he just got. I mean, he could have more than one console, but just kind of weird that they just dropped the Wii that quick. But anyways,
yeah, it's probably PlayStation.
Yeah. Then Nathan and Haley and Lucas are in the kitchen while they're playing the game. And
that to me was weird because they're talking about Dan and that he's dying, and you're saying it a couple feet from your son.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
and Jamie,
but yeah, could still hear.
But Jamie's the person, the kid that hears everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think that even a video game, he'd be like, "Wait a minute, what?" Like right. he would be that kid. And so it's weird how they didn't go outside or anywhere else in this house
or to talk. Use a code name instead of saying Dan.
It's weird, right? It's just weird. But remember, even when they would say like him and stuff, Jamie would be like, "You're talking about Grandpa Dan." Like even when they didn't say his name, he knew exactly who they were talking about. So again, why didn't they just go outside? Why did they have to talk right when Jamie is right there? It was weird to me.
Yeah. So Lucas thinks they should do nothing because in 6 months, Dan will be out of their lives for good.
And then, Lucas is just on that. Nope, I don't. But he's always been that way with Dan. He's never cared to. That's just their relationship. Yeah. And Nathan, on the other hand, has been in Dan's life, so it's going to be a little harder for him to say goodbye. And he's trying to act like Lucas, but he's not. And Haley, even looks at him like, oh,
Yeah, because ever since Dan got out of prison, Nathan keeps going to see him. I mean, Dan sees him too, but Nathan still makes a choice on his end to go see Dan, because it's like every time he walks in, he's like, and another thing, And it's like, I just came to tell you this, even though I actually didn't need to. There's no purpose in me telling you, but I'm telling you anyways, kind of thing. That kind of annoys me, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean is Nathan still needs Dan.
Yeah, because when Lucas says good riddance, Nathan kind of looks sad. Yeah.
Yeah, where Lucas is just like, I can make jokes, I can do all this because I don't care about the old man. But it's like, wait, Nathan does, because again, Nathan was raised by him.
Yeah.
Dan never gave up on Nathan. Deb, yeah, she was in and out of his life. But his constant person that was there was Dan. And
unfortunately, yeah.
But think about it too. If I don't think that Nathan would be as invested in basketball and want the NBA if Dan didn't push him. If he had just made it a hobby and then Deb was involved and she'd be like, well, let's try this. Let's do this. And he may have turned to basketball, but he may not have. He may have chosen something Deb would want. And, I mean, it's like Jamie. He never really got to choose basketball. It was chosen for him. And I think, and without Nathan realizing that that's what happened, it happened. And I think it's the same way with Nathan is he would not have practiced as hard. He would not have gotten better. It would have been a hobby. It would have been like, I might go to college. It would have been like Lucas. Maybe they're good or not. I'll either go or not. But I don't really care because I'm not that good. Where because he was forced to be. And that was, remember, he said, that's what we planned. We planned Duke. We planned the NBA. That's all he knew. So, he does have Dan to thank for that.
Right.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And, the NBA does pay a lot. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, so Jamie's beating skills of the game. So Jamie mentions how, threes are better than twos, and this gives skills an idea for the basketball team.
Which is stupid.
I don't know what that means, so I can't tell if it's good or not.
It's stupid because, of course, 3 points are better than 2.
Oh, yeah. I thought there was something else behind it that seemed like it was brilliant, the way skills put it.
No. It just means that they don't go up for layups like Nathan liked to do. Because all that would equal less points than the 3 points. But my point is, when these kids, because let's call them, that's what they are, when they would practice, remember when they practice and they like all miss the basket, and they always act like the only person that's good at shooting a basket is Q. Haven't they always said that basically? Okay, so we're gonna go from that to this, where the 3-pointers are furthest from the basket.
Right.
So if these players are not even good at making baskets that are close to the basket, how are they going to make them further from the basket is my question. And also they also will be blocked by somebody, like they do in basketball. You block them so they don't make the basket. So not only do they have to make the basket, which you've said they don't do well, they also will have somebody guarding them. So yeah, that's unlikely. I'm sorry. But if Nathan struggled with it, how are you going to expect these kids to? Especially because you said Q is the only one on the team that can do this. But yet you're going to make all of them do it? They don't even know how. Like you said, they're not good at it. So again, I feel like this is another rewrite. Because if they could do that, don't you think they would be doing that?
Right.
Like, it's not common sense. So that's what's weird, is if you had faith that they could make baskets, don't you think they would be doing it?
Right.
But they must not. So it's weird. So that's unlikely. Also, I'm also confused. Do you remember when Nathan was the point guard? And do you remember how he, as the point guard, would make the baskets?
Right.
Later, when they tell the team that their job is to make the baskets, and then here's your point guard as Q. I'm like, wait a minute. You said that the team has to make the baskets, but Q is the point guard. But Nathan used to be the point guard, and he made all the baskets. I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't know basketball, so I didn't think of that. So
it was running through because remember, that's all Nathan wanted, was to be point guard, so he could make all the baskets. Well, if the team is now making the baskets, but Q is point guard, I am confused. That's all I got out of it.
Yeah, so then Brooke walks into work, and Millie tells her mouth doing, his news report. And I noticed too, when I originally watched this, that Millie's the only person in the whole series that calls Mouth Marvin by his actual name.
Really?
Which is cute. I just noticed that she's the only one, yeah. Yeah, because once Mouth says, my nickname's Mouth, basically everybody sticks to that, but she never did, so yeah. So she just always calls him Marvin. But yeah, so it's about to start, and she asks Brooke if she has everything for the meeting, and Brooke assures her that she does, and then the segment starts, so they watch on that TV, putting hands,
Yep, and he's not doing good.
No, because
he's fumbling. He fumbles over words and gets names wrong.
He looked into the wrong camera. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. And then he spills his drink, and then all he says is, "That's sports, and I'm wet." I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then Brooke and Millie look at each other, and Millie was like, "That wasn't good, was it?" It's like, what? Like anybody that watched it, even a kid would know that wasn't good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they even made her say that, because I'm like, she's smarter than that. She knows it was terrible. And then all Brooke says is, "At least it's over."
But then Millie says it's not, because he has 2 more segments this afternoon. So
okay, but don't you think that the producers would be like, okay, He failed that. He failed that. So, because he even said, what about the weekend guy? Or whatever he said. Well, they would bring that person in. Or they would let anybody else do it besides you. Because all he's doing is reading a teleprompter. Well, anybody could do that at the station. So I feel like that's what they would do to fill in. They would not have him do it again because he just bombed that one.
Right. There is a guy standing right next to him, so they could even ask him to do it. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Anybody that's even just reporting the news could just do that too.
Yeah. And then, but Brooke, being the understandable person she is, tells Molly she has to go to the station to be, supportive of the mouth, even though she asked for a meeting and she was supposed to watch Angie, but Brooke, says that she'll take her to the meeting, basically. And then Nathan, Lucas, Skills, and even Jamie are coming up with the game plan in the locker room. And Lucas says without Q, they have no inside game, no defense. And Jamie says, and no assists. And they all look at him for knowing his stuff, which is funny.
Yeah, but then that's when Skills brings up to, just shoot threes. And, they're like, what? And stuff. And then they're like, Lucas is like, oh, that's pretty good. And then he's like, yeah, it was, Jamie. It was funny. And then they're like, look at him. And it's like, even though you grown men who were playing basketball should have figured that out.
And then Nathan mentions that they have to have a really strong player to do, to throw the ball and get back on D. And Nathan says they already have that player. Now the guys look at him. And Nathan says, it's Quentin.
Yeah, but he quit. So no.
Right.
I'm surprised they didn't bring that up of like Nathan. He quit.
And then we see Lindsay in her office, and that's when Peyton walks in. So, did Peyton even tell Brooke that she was leaving? I don't think she did. She just showed up there, so we didn't see that conversation.
Yeah, she just said you're not needed here.
Right.
So Peyton says, they need to talk, and she brings up, obviously, Lucas, and that she said she was here for Lucas and her, which was weird to me. And then, Lindsay was like, I have nothing to say. And then she brings up how, like he misses her or whatever. But I liked when when Lindsay said, here's his, manuscript. Read this. And then it was weird because she said, because her next thing was, you have a decision to make. After reading it, and I was like, how does Peyton have a decision to make? Why does everyone keep saying she has a decision to make? She has already said her feelings for Lucas again. So why is it her decision? It is Lucas's decision who he wants. I'm so annoyed at this. Why do they keep, Haley did it. Lindsay's doing it. Brooke has probably done it. It's annoying. Like, it's not up to Peyton. This is not, do people not realize a relationship is a two-way street? Like, two people have to be involved in it, not just one. If that was the way, it would be weird. Like, stalkers would get their way then, It's like, what? Like, you as a person cannot be like, I like that person, so we're going to be together. No, they have to like you back. It's weird.
I can see why Lindsay did that just because Peyton actually flew all the way there to talk to her. But yeah, it is Lucas's decision. He's the one that's only stopping himself. Peyton's not saying like, no, we can't be together kind of thing. She's like not doing that at all. So,
okay, so Peyton reads this, right? And then she finds out it's about her. Well, how is that going to change anything? All it's going to do is make her more depressed because she's not with Lucas and that he's still hung up over Lindsay. That's the only thing it's going to do is make her upset. And she's trying to get out of being in love with Lucas because all he is doing is hung up. Like, it's hurting her. So why hurt her even more? Unless that was Lindsay's plan, is to hurt her.
Right.
Because she, came into this, into the relationship. So unless that was Lindsay's plan up to hurt her, because she knows Lucas will not back down. Maybe she does know that. Maybe it was a way of her hurting Peyton.
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't see much felt that way.
It didn't, but when you actually think about it, it might be a way of her hurting me. Like, here's a book. Here's all these pages of how much he loves you, but he's gonna still want me. Like, what?
So she's doing this like almost 2 months later, all of a sudden, after she just told Peyton that she doesn't blame her.
I guess. I mean, because Peyton's going there to say, like, you need to get back with him because he loves you. And Lindsay's like, no, he loves you. Here's the book. You make your decision.
I don't know. Maybe that will just make Peyton's decision, stop to talk with Lindsay about getting back together with Lucas. Maybe that's the only decision she has to make, is to stop basically helping Lucas fight for Lindsay when it's pointless.
Yeah, but it's only going to hurt Peyton.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's going to read the book and know he still likes and still wants Lindsay.
I don't know. Maybe Lindsay thought maybe if Peyton read the book, then that would make Peyton like try to talk to him again about being together or something. I don't know. Like point it out to him right in front of him. Maybe he'll listen to her, not, since it's not to everybody else.
Yeah, but he hasn't wanted to talk to her.
I know. I'm just saying she's just probably trying to think of anything else to do here.
And anytime he's in the, like, maybe that's what Peyton should have said, is just so you know, anytime I'm in the room, he wanders off because he doesn't want me. Like, he doesn't want to talk to me. He wants to know nothing of my life. He wants you. Because maybe, because Lindsay is in New York, maybe she thinks that Lucas and Peyton still have a friendship. And, because think about it. If you're away from that situation, you don't know what's happening because you're not talking to Lucas. Maybe she thinks that these two are still friendly and talking and hanging out as they did before, that she doesn't know that he's, like, wandering away every time she enters.
Yeah, especially if Haley doesn't say anything either.
Yeah. So if nobody's telling her, all she's doing is making up the image in her head. Well, that's not helping.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Peyton should have said it flat out. Just so you know, he doesn't care about me.
Right.
He's doing these things because he likes you. So,
mm-hmm. Right.
And all he does is tell our friends he wants you. Like, I am not in the picture of the conversation. It's always about you.
Yeah, and then back in Tree Hill, Q and Jamie are doing free throws, and that's when Nathan gets there and tells Jamie tells Nathan that Q and him are, he's learned to shoot with his left hand for 3 free throws from Q.
Then Dan shows up.
Yeah.
I like how Nathan was like, okay, I'll go talk to Dan because I don't want Jamie to know Dan is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you see how fast that moved? It was like, okay, you two stay here and shoot the baskets. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and he says to Q that he's not quitting the Ravens, and Jamie, is like shocked about him quitting. Yeah. And that's when Q says he got hurt, and that's when Jamie says his dad got hurt too, and sometimes it makes him sad, and you give him anything to see him play again, because he can tell he wants to.
Well, and it was nice because it gave Q something to think about.
Yeah, like I said, nobody was talking about this before until now, so this probably would have helped Q from the beginning if they just said something, but
yeah. So Dan was like, okay, what I thought was weird though, so Nathan goes out there and he says that he could make a phone call and get his parole revoked.
Yeah, like, did he have a restraining order against Nathan and Jamie or somebody? Or maybe did they charge him with the kidnapping or something? Like, what? Yeah, that didn't make sense.
I'm like, okay, because here's my thing. Like, obviously, if you get out of prison, if you've stalked somebody, I'm sure you can't go in a certain feet of them.
Mm-hmm.
But he's out. Unless he's on house arrest, which he's not. I don't get how he could get it revoked.
Mm-hmm.
He was set free, right?
Right, yeah.
So if he's set free, that means he can live his life as long as he's not doing damage, right? Mm-hmm. Like, as long as he doesn't harm somebody and he's doing, living, his life, he shouldn't be able to get it revoked. So I'm so confused. Like, is there a restraining order that he can't go to a high school? Is there a restraining order he can't go? Like, is it in there that he can't see his family? Like, it's weird because he says I can get it revoked.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, like, does he have like a restraining order against Jamie not being around him?
Right. But being revoked, why? Because he's at a high school trying to talk to you. It's weird.
Yeah.
So that threw me off because I'd like to know more about that. Also, then Dan was like, just hear me out. It's like, that's kind of all you've been trying to do. Like, every time you talk, like, I feel like you've said everything you need to say. Hasn't he?
Apparently not.
I don't get it. Like, you keep trying to go and talk to Nathan. He seems to not want to talk to you. So leave it alone. You've already said things. Like, stop trying to talk more. Because then he talks more about, like, a comeback and all of that. Like, it's like, stop. He doesn't want to talk to you.
Right. Yeah, so
okay, but did you like when Dan told Nathan that he tried to commit suicide?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know if this was just his desperate way of trying to make a last effort to get Nathan to understand that he needs to, basically be part of their lives again, or, make him feel guilty and basically, put that more on him besides for him already dying already within 6 months. Yeah. Yeah, it was really brought up out of nowhere, kind of Nathan, so I didn't like that. It wasn't really fair, especially with Jamie just in the other room like that, so he couldn't like really process it or, just think about it. He had to kind of push it away to, be there with Jamie.
Well, I think because Dan usually has a plan, and I think when he came out of prison, he thought in his head, I don't know why, but in his head, he thought he was going to get Nathan and Jamie back. I think that's what was in his head. Well, it clearly didn't happen. And then he brings up, well, I'm dying. Well, that's not working. So let me go to another harsh thing, which is I tried to kill myself. Like,
yeah, so it's like a desperate last chance.
Like nothing I say is working that would actually maybe change somebody's view. But I'm sorry, but if you murdered someone, it's not going to change anyone's view. You can say everything in the world, and it's not going to change because you've already taken somebody's life. So nobody cares if you try to take your own. I'm sorry, they don't. And so that's why it's like, well, why would you bring it up? Like, you're already saying you're dying, and they don't care. So what would I care? And then to say you tried, well, okay, but you're still standing here. So
yeah, so I don't know if he meant to say like to Nathan, like, oh, I might try again before I die from heart failure or something. I don't know, but
right, because that was weird to me. Was so you're telling me you tried? Well, obviously you weren't successful. Congrats. Well, but now you're saying, but then you've already said you're dying, and I really don't care. So what was the point of telling me you tried to kill yourself? Like, I'm just trying to figure like it out for like Nathan's point of like, the most serious thing would be you're dying, because that's the most realistic, because the other one you weren't successful at. Right. But you dying because of your heart condition, well, that's more realistic. So yeah, I just think it was him trying to like fight, like, I need you to be in my life because of all of these things, but nothing's working for him.
Yeah, because he said that when it didn't work, he took it as a sign that he wasn't finished on Earth and that his life was incomplete. So he needs to fix all that, and he needs that peace before he dies. So he's basically telling Nathan like, you need to basically give me this, even though you don't think I deserve it. So
yeah, but it's like, Dan, look into the mirror. You don't deserve it.
Yeah, and then he even says, don't deny a dying man his last wish, to make it even worse.
Yeah, okay, it would be fine to grant that person their last wish, but it's somebody who took somebody's life. So no, you shouldn't be granted the last wish.
And then at the station, Mouth is told that his next segment is about to start, and is he gonna be able to do it? So then that Millicent says he'll be fine when she walks in, and Mom starts to explain that he doesn't know what happened. He got nervous, with the bright lights and the teleprompters, it's different than he expected. I feel like I've followed a couple of news anchors on TikTok, and they actually like have a lot of practice. I mean, Mouse was kind of thrown into this the last minute, but I feel like they should have at least did one rehearsal with him before, ahead of time, to make sure he could actually do it instead of just throwing him on the air live. So
yeah, because
that's unrealistic there.
Well, especially because he said, like, I've seen your tapes. Well, anybody can make a tape of themselves privately, which is what he did.
Yeah.
And yes, he did a story on the Ravens. Well, first of all, that's what he knows best. Secondly, he did it again privately. He filmed it and then recorded it. So again, everything he was doing was in private again. So then you're going to just throw him on the air because you saw that. Well, maybe that person only works best in private. They can't do public speaking. Maybe you should have seen if he could do public speaking. I don't know. And so yeah, I also think like you had time between when you told him he was going to do it to when he first went on there. Yeah, you should have done a test run. Even if it was a minute test run, you would have seen he would have fumbled right away with the lights. And then you would have said, yep, because that would have been your cue as a boss to say, we need to get so-and-so in here. Whoever the weekend person is.
Right.
Instead, because I feel, especially if you're going on air, you should always have a backup. Like if the person gets sick, if the person has an emergency, if the person is like mouth and freaks out on camera, you'll have a backup. So you can throw them in and then you'll keep it running. I don't get why they wouldn't have the backup there.
Right.
That's
weird.
But
it was so sweet for Millie to, tell him that when they went to the station before, he told her that sports reminded him of, the greatness that they all have inside of them. He said that on any given day, an underdog can rise up. So he is the underdog here and he can do this. And, just tells him to take his time and talk to her, tune everything else out. Just look at her. She'll, be right behind the teleprompter thingy. So then he gets to the desk and he starts the segment and it does go well. And then Brooke walks into her meeting late with Angie and, woman asks Brooke if she's prepared because, after seeing the baby. And maybe they should reschedule, but Brooke says, she's ready. But then Angie starts crying, so she, takes a second and goes out.
Well, how did you like though when she first came in and she threw her stuff on the desk and it blew in that lady's face?
Yeah, that kind of seemed a little rude there. Yeah,
it was funny though. I mean, yes, it was rude for the lady because it's you're supposed to be professional, but it was funny to watch.
Yeah, and it was a big folder too, so I'm surprised it didn't fall off the table or something. But yeah. And then Q goes to see Skills in Lucas's office. Do they share that office now at this point? It seems like him and Lucas, Skills.
I don't know. Maybe it was I just need to work on something, so I don't know.
Yeah, just kind of something they're kind of going back and forth. But yeah, because Skills did ask if he was looking for Lucas, and he says no, he's looking for him. So maybe not. But
yeah, maybe he just said I'm working on something. So can I use your office? And he said yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Q tells Skills that he owes an apology for everything that he said. It was out of line. He was upset about his wrist, and he didn't think he had his back. So then that's when Skills, gives him to it straight because, him and Lucas do have his best interest, and that's why they call him out and stuff. And they always look at the big picture and what's best for him. And he tells him that Lucas and Nathan are good people, but they have to trust them and know what they're doing, and they'll do whatever it takes for him to get where he wants to be. And he understands this now, but I think he needed this conversation a long time ago, like I said, because he didn't know about any of their history and how much they worked to get where they are, And then Q mentions the locker that he cleared out yesterday, so Skills tells them they can get it back, and that his apology is accepted. And then Brooke tells Angie, they're in this together, they have to work as a team, so the thing is really important to her. And she, gets this one shot, so she's depending on her, and Angie's being quiet now, so she tells her that they're going to go back into the meeting and kick a little presentation butt, and she asks Angie if she's with her.
I don't really know if that's necessary.
Like, as if Angie understands.
She's going to go there and give, Angie a pep talk to, be quiet. Like, she's a baby. She's going to fuss. That's what babies do. They're going to do it on probably inappropriate times. So I don't know. It was just kind of weird. Like, we're gonna go out there. We're gonna, no. It's kind of weird.
It was a cute moment between her and the baby, but yeah, it didn't really make that much sense because she could have easily just started crying the second she walked back in.
Like, maybe I don't like that lady.
And then we segue to Lucas asking the team if they're with him, and he tells them they're gonna shoot threes, and tells them exactly what they're gonna do. So one guy asks if they're gonna if they're shooting threes, who's gonna give them the ball, and that's when Q walks in and says he will.
Yeah, that's why I just thought, going back to this whole thing, that's weird.
And then we see Brooke crushing the interview, or not interview, meeting with Angie in her hands of the same woman, that woman who assumed that Brooke can handle the meeting. And then Brooke mentions, what's missing is Angie. She represents an undeserved but lucrative market. Clothes Over Bros is about to unveil a new line called Baby Brooke. Basically a whole, baby line there. And, it's fun, cute, edgy, and every cute baby is going to be drilling over it or on it, which I thought that was clever.
But does this ever follow through?
No.
Because what would be the point of her starting Baker's Man?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So, remember, she started it because she had the boys.
Well, what's this? Is this with Macy's, isn't it? So maybe that's why. It wasn't like just her line. It was collaborating with another market. I don't know.
Or maybe it was a girls' line because of Angie. So it was a girls' line where Baker's Man was kind of, I think, boy.
Yeah, and this is about Baby Brooke, too. And Brooks are usually girls, too, so...
Yeah, so maybe this was just a girls' line.
Which is kind of weird because, Brooke seems to be that kind of person that's inclusive with everybody.
Well, you would think she'd have a line because she has a godson that she's so close to.
And she made a jacket for her.
Yeah, so you would think that with Jamie and Angie that she'd have a kids line because she loves both of them. Like, you wouldn't just make a little girl's clothes when you love this little boy.
Right.
That makes no sense.
And then Mouth is still doing a segment when he mentions Quinnen being out of action, and they'll have to see what Coach Lucas Scott has up his sleeve to get the Ravens on track.
I thought this was weird.
Because it's about a high school?
Yes, there was no news channel is going to sit there and talk week to week about one team. Like one high school team. They just wouldn't.
I mean, they broadcasted Nathan's announcement of going to Duke. So
I think they did that because it was like the first one in town to go somewhere. Like, okay, like in our town, if there was somebody in the couple schools that are around us, if they went to, let's say, Michigan on a full ride, or they went to Michigan State or anywhere, even if it was out of state, if they would go somewhere. Okay, I'm like, okay, there was somebody. Okay, there was somebody. Draymond Green. He played in town. He went to Michigan State. Okay, I don't know if it was a full ride, but he went to Michigan State. He then went to the NBA. Okay, so that's a perfect example. Somebody in our town.
I didn't even know this. Okay.
Everybody knew about it in town. I mean, like anybody that was in that world knew about it. There was articles. So I'm sure it was on TV at the time. But there were like articles and stuff about it. So I'm sure that it was probably at that time when he went, because it was years ago. I'm sure that it probably made the news channel because it was something big, because it was like, we don't have somebody in our hometown that went this far. So I'm sure it was newsworthy that he went that far.
And that was from our school?
No.
Oh, different school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I know we had a green in our class, or not our class, our school, so I was wondering. Okay, yeah, so I don't know because I'm not into sports or even local sports, so yeah.
Well, yeah, I think you might not have known it because he didn't go to our school, but it was in our town.
Okay.
Why? Yes. Who that was near us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Miles finally crushes this segment here with Millie being there to support him. But this is great. But like, what's
Well,
it gonna
I
be
thought,
next time?
well, I thought you were gonna bring up like Jason Richardson.
Oh no, I mean I could because my brother's friends with him, but yeah.
Well, and also the fact that he did go to our school in elementary,
Mm-hmm.
but then he left because obviously he wanted a bigger school than our school.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, that could have been a prime example too. I'm sure it was probably, I'm sure back then it was probably newsworthy too.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like if they go somewhere like that where it's newsworthy, that it's something like, oh my God, these kids are going, you know, they're good enough to go there. They're going to be starters. They're going, yeah, of course, it's going to be, you know, newsworthy that they're looked at. Where just talking about day to day or week to week about a game. No, I'm sure when Draymond played, Jason played, I'm sure it wasn't like, you know, okay, let's be honest. This team, the Ravens, were not, I'm sure, as good as when Jason and Draymond played. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when Nathan played, it might have been newsworthy.
Mm-hmm.
But this team is not there yet.
Right.
So I'm sure that, you know, it's not newsworthy.
Right.
Especially you have to think like for us, we have so many school districts that you would have to beat out to talk about.
Right.
Plus, I will say that we do have Friday Night Lights. We do have at least years ago. I'm sure they still have it on Fridays where they talk about, oh, this one played and this one played for football. That I'm sure that's where you get your highlights from. You can, but you wouldn't sit there and if you're going to announce, if you're going to be the reporter for like Friday Night Lights, I don't feel that you should be biased about a team. You know, like, you know how Mouth is like sitting there talking about the Ravens because, you know, he went there. It's like, you shouldn't be biased about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know in the sports world, there is, all the reporters are not like, they're all biased, shall I say.
Right.
Like whether you're a reporter or you are the refs for whatever sport, I don't like it, but you are biased.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they should. I don't think as a reporter you should be biased. I don't think that if you're a ref, I just don't think you should. But I know that it happens every day on every sport.
Yeah. I mean, not sport wise, but regular news wise, I saw someone that was being biased, so I unfollowed them for that. So.
Oh, the refs are terrible.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, because they have their favorites.
This is why I'm not gonna lie, Cynthia. Like when we were freshmen, and I would go on, like there was like this online forum on the news station's website, and it was about like Friday Night Lights. And so people would like talk about the upcoming game that our school would play, and they'd be like, they suck and all of this, and I'm like, you're first of all saying all these horrible things. You're talking about underage kids, first of all. Secondly, these kids could be your kids. Like, think if it was your kid being trashed. And, you know, like no one said these kids are going to the NFL. Also, you know, so stop criticizing them like that. And so there was so many like negative, like, so I would go on there and I would like start like defending us because it would be like, nobody wants to defend us. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to defend us. Because I don't think it's right. I don't think that it's right that the kids should be torn down like this when they're not asking for it.
Right.
Like the kids are not on there bashing others. So why are they getting bashed? By a lot of it too was grown adults bashing the kids. And I just think that's so wrong. Like they're underage kids. They're high school players. Why are they getting bashed?
I don't know. They always do.
And even the refs, whenever was it the refs? Even the refs, they would be, of course, on one team. It's like, stop it. Like, we all can sit here and watch the game and see that you're not for a certain team. And it was always so annoying to like watch. And that's why it's hard to watch sports. Like whether it is college or it's pros, it's hard to watch because the refs are so on certain teams that they can't win. And if they do win, it's because they had to fight for it against not only the other team, but the refs.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, people will always like defend others.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I was saying about Mouth, what is he gonna do next time he has to do a segment when Millie isn't there? Because she can't be there every single time.
I guess he could picture her being there.
Yeah.
Like, now that he saw her once, he can just like close his eyes, take a deep breath, and act like she's there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, eventually you do have to grow up and kind of do something to get yourself like your nerves. Like, that's the thing. It's like you could sit there and like give yourself a little pep talk. Because like Amelia on Grey's Anatomy, didn't she like do like this stance that I also never saw her do until that episode? Before she
Peter Pan
did a surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
superhero pose, whatever. Yeah,
to like build her confidence. Even though, again, never saw that episode.
Right.
But yeah, it's like if you get yourself to focus, like doing a prayer or giving yourself a pep talk or looking at a picture of, because remember Nathan would always say, like, I would look at, Haley and Jamie's picture. It's like, if you give yourself a motivation, then you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to focus on that and not the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what he's going to have to do, because clearly he's not good in that kind of setting.
Right.
At least not yet. But here's the thing. First of all, he's only 22.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his first time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I do think what he should do is he should put the light on, put the monitor up, and do this and practice without being on camera.
Right.
Like, set it up as if you are, and practice and practice. That's the only way he's gonna get better.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, so back at practice, things are going well, and Lucas tells Q he did a good job. He thinks it can really, this can really work. And Q tells Nathan thanks, and Nathan thinks it's about the whole play of it all. So he says it was Jamie's idea anyway, and Q means, thanks for believing in him. And he tells Nathan thanks for showing him the way back, and Nathan tells him just to do his best. And that's when Q, says that they'll make a deal. If he works hard, then he'll work hard to, do it for himself and for Jamie to come back. And Nathan says it's not a comeback because it sucks. And Q says he knows, but for now it does. But he saw something in him before he even saw it in himself. And maybe this is that, a couple hours every day to practice. There's just the two of them. So Nathan makes a good deal and just don't call it a comeback.
Yeah. And then Millie comes in and says, that was some comeback to Mel.
That was his coworker, whose name I can't remember. But yeah, because he says they didn't think that he was going to make it, but tells him nice work. And Mel tells him.
Was it? I thought that was Millie that said that.
No.
Was it the coworker?
Yeah, the one guy. They don't repeat his name, so I can't remember what it is. They just, he just talks him out. But yeah. So I don't know if he's like the assistant of like tech assistant, whatever that title is, in the station. But Mel tells Millie thank you. He couldn't have done it without her. And Millie tells him
it was Millie that said that was a comeback, and then that's when the coworker jumped in and said for a while we didn't think you were going to make it.
Okay, that's what I wrote. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, she says she didn't do anything. He did all. He tells her she helped too. And he asks if she wants to try being an anchor, and he brings her to the desk and tells her to read the prompter. So, that's when she reads the words out loud. Thank you, Millie, for believing in me. I love you, Marvin. And, she asks Miles if this is true. And he says that, it is. He does love her. And she tells him she loves him too. And then we kiss. And then, there's a sweet moment to show that, there's a sweet gesture for Miles to do for Millie. After all that. So, you don't think that was like because they're on camera live. But I was saying that would have been a clever way to kind of get her in the studio just so he could do that for her. Like if he was messing up on purpose, as a surprise. But I don't think he did that purposely for that reason. But it just kind of seemed like that way.
How did he even get this whole thing in when he just got off air?
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it was planned ahead of time before he even had his first segment where he messed up.
Yeah, and he didn't know that she was coming. That's weird.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, it was so sweet. But then we transition to Haley kissing Jamie goodnight, and that's when she sees the thank you note he wrote for Dan, and made. So she reads it out loud, dear Grandpa Dan, I had the best day ever, or birthday ever. And then he finishes reading it to her by saying, thank you for the great jersey. It makes me feel just like my dad when I wear it. I wish you could have been at my party just like you were there to save me. I hope you can come to my next birthday party and all the ones after that. I love you, Jameis Sika Scott, age 5.
Yeah, it was funny because he goes, age 5.
Mm-hmm. And, Jamie asks Haley if she thinks Dan will like the note. And, she says she's going to love it. And she tells him, he's a good boy, James Sika Scott, age 5. And she loves him very much. And then she turns off the light and takes the note.
So then she tells Nathan, like, what are we going to do about Jamie and Dan? And then, she shows him that. And what I thought was, then she tells him that, if he needs closure, because, it's his father, she understands, but be careful. And my whole thing is, I think that Nathan should have been the one to throw the letter card or whatever that was of Jamie's in the trash. I don't think it should have been Haley.
Mm-hmm.
Because it should have been, this is your father. You do something.
Right.
Like, it should not have been her.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's not her father. It's not that relationship. It should have been Nathan to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because she said, what are we going to do about this? Well, so you've already now put it into Nathan's hands. So, let Nathan carry it around.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you? Or do you think it should have been Haley?
No, it shouldn't. Yeah, it should have been Nathan. And then at the beach house, Dan makes himself a drink when Nathan shows up. And, Nathan says no to having a drink too, and Dan offers it. But he tells Dan he thought about what he said, and he was right about a lot of things. He knows he wouldn't have gone this far, if it wasn't with him, without him pushing him.
Yeah, but then he said that he learned that family is important. And then Dan goes, you're right, son. And he goes, and then because he said our family is important. And he goes, and Nathan's like, no, my family. And you're not a part of it. All righty. But again, it's like Nathan went there just to say that. Like he keeps saying, stay away, stay away, stay. I want nothing to do with you. It's like another thing of it.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying it's like he basically keeps coming back and it's like, and another thing, like it's wasted our time,
just to see Dan again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's sorry he's dying, but he can never forgive him.
Yeah.
And so Dan's like, so that's it, and Nathan says, just making that decision, and he says no, he made that decision for him, the moment you pull the trigger. And then he walks out, and then Dan ends up throwing his drink at the mirror and breaking it.
But my thing is for Dan, why are you getting so upset when you're the one that did it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but if you choose that and then you go to prison, do you really think that your friends and family should want a relationship with you? Like that was your choice to do it. So once you did it, that's not on them. That's on you. If they go throw their hands up, I don't want to deal with you. That like it's not for you to blame them and get mad. Like that was your choice to end it. That wasn't their choice.
Mm-hmm.
They're just being normal.
Yeah. And then Lindsay gets a video call invite from Lucas, but she declines it, and he sees that she does. And then Payne is reading Lucas's book in her room at home, and she's, crying. realizing what Lindsay said was true. Lucas loves her. And then Brooke thanks Angie for being good today, to make a good team. And she says she knows this surgery is scary, but she's going to be there for her every step of the way, and they're going to get through it together. And she knows she's not her real mom, but she could use a sign to, let her know she's doing okay with taking care of her. So that's when Angie, that's when Angie finally giggles, and that's what Brooke's been trying to do, like make her smile, make her laugh, and she finally did that.
Oh, I just thought, I was like, oh, okay, so now you know that you're not her mom when that's all you act like is her mom.
Right.
And it's like, that's what you've told yourself, but we know you're not. So it's just kind of weird because she goes, I know I'm not, but it's not how you've acted.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so that was the end.
So for me, the high ones. I like Q and Nathan, how they're gonna basically have a little comeback together.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not gonna last, but
Yeah.
for right now, I like it. But yeah, I do like the relationship and their friendship. So that I would say. My low would be Dan kind of making everyone feel bad for him. Like he's the one that did it to himself. So, there's that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. I liked about Nathan and Q too, but also with Millie and Mouth, she Brooke let her, not babysit and Angie so she can go be at the station with Mouth. That's why I wonder if kind of seemed like it was planned beforehand, because Brooke, it would have been easier for Brooke if she didn't have Angie with her. But yeah, so that was just sweet that she went there to support Mal, for every segment, the other two that he did, and help him get over his stage fright that he had. And then that moment with them saying that he loved her through the teleprompter was nice too. And then the worst, was just Dan keep trying to push Nathan and, go to the school when Jamie was there and everything. So, yeah.
And then what did you rate it?
A lot didn't really happen too much, so I say like a 7.
Yeah, I'm going to say 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then who's your best and worst?
The worst is Dan, because he's just trying to butt in when Nathan keeps telling him no, even though Nathan does keep going over his house, but still. And, trying to make Nathan feel, like I said, guilty about him trying to take his own life when he was in jail and everything. Just put more pressure on him that he really shouldn't be doing. And then the best was Millie, because, like I said, she's just being supportive now. So, being a good girlfriend.
Yeah, I was going to say those two, Millie best and Dan worst.
Yeah.
And then what's next episode?
Episode 17, Hate is Safer Than Love, which definitely sounds like Dan.
Yeah, I feel like to the rest of the season, it's probably going to be all about Dan.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.